Leaning across the door, his fingers casually find the lock. Oh dear! Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Espoir David, and today I'd like to play a game that's part of the Yandere Game Jam of 2025 called Ravenous Hand. I'm working the late shift tonight. My metal name tag catches in the light, spelling out, I am Espoir, it means hope in French. Ooh. The ball rattles against the grooves of the wheel, settling into a pocket. Red 19. Sweeping my hand over the table, I collect the losing bets and push stacks of chips towards the winners. I've been to a casino, but I've never been to this kind of casino. More hands reach for their wallets, their drinks, and their next rush. The wind speals. The wheel spins again. A man sighs next to me under the haze of smoke. Rowdy crowd we have tonight. Already had to drag out some drunk bastards. One of our guys broke his arm in the process. Aw, must be a full moon or something. Yeah, well, we don't have enough hands to deal with this. Where the heck is the boss? My eyes don't leave the table, and I hear him walk away. I don't make it a habit to pay too much attention to what's happening around me. It's not that I don't care, but in this city, you learn fast that sticking your nose where it doesn't belong is a good way to get it broken. And what matters more is walking out with my earnings and making it home without any surprises. But still, my gaze keeps gravitating to the bar in the corner. They look to be like any other well-dressed high rollers at the Onyx Mirage. Cool. That's a sick name. A group of men, nursing their drinks, smoke curling lazily from their cigars. But there's something off. Maybe it's the way they've stayed stationed there since they arrived, their conversation kept low over the din from the crowd. Or maybe it's the way no one else dares sit near them. An unspoken distance cutting them off from the rest of the room. Suspicious. But then again, suspicious isn't anything unusual around here. My attention snags on someone sitting at the end of the bar. Hot. He's watching the casino floor with an even gaze, while the others talk amongst themselves. Something about him feels out of place, or maybe he blends in so well that he sticks out to me. My eyes trail down to the base of his neck, where a jagged scar cuts through his skin. Ooh, an almost jarring contrast to his otherwise pristine appearance. Handsome. Oh no! Our eyes met. Hey. The cold, silvery look in his eyes sends a shiver jolting through me. There's too much weight in his gaze to be casual curiosity. He lifts his glass, watching me over the rim as he takes a slow, measured sip. There's a familiar, yet foreign sensation creeping along my spine as we continue to observe each other from across the room. Hot. Also, Dante from the Devil May Cry series, is that you? No, he can't be Dante, he done got no pizza. Then, just as I consider looking away, his lips twitch, a ghost of a smirk. Hey. I quickly drop my gaze back to the roulette wheel, a creeping unease settling in. I can only hope that I'm just another forgettable face by the end of the night. Those darn Vona rats! I recognize those filthy mugs. The family's been sinking its teeth into every business in this district. One of the players at the table snarked, looking where I had been looking just moments ago. The Vona family. People hate them for their brutal methods and total disregard for civilians, or so I've heard. Seriously, they're taking this casino as well? But there are other ones already a nightmare. Half the floor's just a front for drug deals, can't even do slots in peace. I brave another glance towards the bar. If they're just loitering around here, kind of a bad time for the boss to be out right now. The Civello and the Vona families teetered on an unsteady yet long-standing truce, so them boldly entering Civello territory, it doesn't bode well. I start to understand the tense atmosphere around them. And I guess no one's thrown them out yet because some higher-up is waiting for the word, or something. I rub a hand over my face, huffing a sigh. Sitting around like a sitting duck is way above my pay grade. If I wasn't stuck with this debt, I would have already been on the earliest train, miles away from this heck hole. The two players leave after exchanging more hushed gossip. Table's empty now. I'm just going to close it and tell Gil I'm sick or something. I wasn't even supposed to be working tonight, but no one's heard from Tony for days. Not Tony! The staff room gossip says it's because of... A sudden hand on my back makes me stiffen up. Hello, darling. A sinking realization has me putting a face to the voice without turning around. Speak of the devil. I can feel the sleazebag's beady eyes rake over me as he keeps his hand there, leaning in far too close. Come on, spin the wheel for me, nice and slow. Sir, I'm afraid this table is closing. You could try... clocking off, are you? Then why don't you finally join me upstairs in the VIP lounge, Show a valued guest like me a good time. If you manage to impress me, then... Just cough directly in this guy's face, like... Sure, let's do that. His hand drifts lower, sour breath fanning across my face. Maybe I'll give you a proper job, one that pays far better than the pennies you get here. Just another rotted fruit on the Savello family tree, clinging to his power. He doesn't spare the Vonas a second glance, too wrapped up in his hedonism to notice the tension brewing around us. I know what happens to people who take you up on that job offer. They disappear. And maybe Tony. Disappearing, enjoying a fresh start out of the city, it's all semantics, sweetheart. And I know you're desperate for the cash. He presses against me. Gross, is that... The fist by my side twitches, itching to collide with flesh. But laying a hand on him would only end one way. Badly. I want to hit him, but I won't. I'll tell him to back off. I think I'd rather make pennies here than catch whatever you've got. Ha! Now please, get lost, sir. I swat away his hand in irritation, quickly clearing the chips from the table. You rude little biscuit. He moves as if he's about to lash out. Someone then snaps at us from across the floor. Hey, stop wasting time. We got a game waiting upstairs. The sleaze hesitates, then throws me a twisted look. The kind only a perverted lunatic would have, like he's getting off on my rejections. We'll continue from where we left off. Later. I still say you should have coughed directly in his face. He's gone. It's exhausting. No matter how many times I try to avoid him, he always finds a reason to come back. And as long as they have the Savello family's backing, management turns a blind eye. Not for the first time. I curse my bottom rung standing in this gaudy crap hole. Just as I start to move away, a cocktail waitress barrels past me, her tray tilting dangerously. Hey, watch it! The wine splashes across my arm and chest, soaking through the white fabric of my shirt. Well, shoot. I stumble back, cursing under my breath. The waitress glares at me. Maybe if you stopped being a floozy around the VIPs, you wouldn't be in my way. You're embarrassing yourself. Listen, silhouette of a waitress. She doesn't wait for a response, storming off briskly. I grit my teeth in anger and humiliation. I should start charging for all this unsolicited bull hockey. I pinch my shirt with 2 fingers and inspect the stains spreading across my shirt and vest. This is going to be annoying to wash. I was planning on changing out of this uniform anyway. Might as well lay low in the staff room for a bit, out of sight from that bastard. So I don't come back and hit him. After closing up the table, I turned into a secluded hallway and beeline it to the staff's changing room. I shoved the key into the lock, and I met with a predictably empty room. Everyone's still out on the floor. I open the locker with my clothes and then peel off my dealer's vest. I've already undone the top buttons of my shirt when the door creaks open. Who? Dante from the Devil May Cry series! The Vona man from the bar is suddenly behind me. I stifle a gasp. You... Meld, the door was still unlocked. I must have gotten lost. You know, to get that close, you must have been following me, sir. Despite saying that, he's stepping inside, silver eyes flickering around the cramped space. I want to say something, but something about his presence makes me feel like something's amiss. I try to grasp the feeling, but it slipped through my fingers. His gaze then settles on me, lingering on the stain at my front. Rough night? My skin prickles with embarrassment. Something like that. Shame. Red looks good on you. Also, you should lock the door next time. Never know what unsavory types might crawl in here. Leaning across the door, his fingers casually find the lock. Oh dear! The sound snaps me out of my distracted state. My stomach twists as I take a step back. The room suddenly feels smaller. I remember the Vona family's less than stellar reputation, and a slow, creeping unease settles in. Okay, what the heck's your deal, mister? He seems amused by my discomfort. Name's Riven. I absolutely didn't ask. Relax. I'm just trying to ditch a couple shadows. You know how it is. I'm sure. Why? Never mind. I'm definitely not getting involved with gang business. Sigh. Guess it's just one of those days. Do I just call it a night and head home like this? Will he even let me leave? Now, as much as I would like to say, get out, I'm curious about what that look was at the bar. At the bar? Why were you looking at me like that? We don't know each other, do we? Strangely, a brief shadow passes over his face before smoothing into a smile. I simply noticed you. Though, I think you were doing the same. Maybe. Not like there was much else to look at. Harsh. I was hoping you'd say you couldn't take your eyes off me. Despite my best efforts to glare him into oblivion, Riven remains unfazed. Anyway, if you could give me directions to the nearest exit, I'll figure out my next move. Exits by the stairwell, down the hall to the left. Bye! I'll make a shooing motion for emphasis. Eep! Before either of us can react, there's a loud crash from outside the door. What? Ah, heck! I flinch as screams and gunshots echo from the distance. My mind floods with panic, heart pounding against my ribcage. What the floof? Don't tell me. I suddenly notice Riven standing closer to me. By the stairwell, huh? His tone is still detached, conversational, voice almost lost to the chaos happening outside. He pulls out a cigar case. Did you plan this? Did you plan this? You're awfully calm about this. He pulls out a cigar case, finger tapping against the leather. Got a light I can borrow, Dove? More gunshots go off, more screams. He just stands over me, watching me in a silent, unnerving way. That gaze. How do I not realize how eerie it was until now? I bolt to the door, all my instincts screaming at me to get away from him. He grabs my arm, yanking me flush against his solid body. Now, why would you go and do that? Before I can register what's happening, something cold and damp presses against my face. Hey! I gasp, trying to pull away, but he holds on tighter, his gloved hand sliding against my cheek. My vision blurs, my thoughts slowing into a fog. No! Don't worry, Espoir. We're going somewhere much better. Huh? Just the two of us. My eyelids fall, and everything goes dark. I stir, disoriented. My body feels like lead, and sharp needles prick at my skull. Oh, man. In the dim light, shadows swim in and out of focus. It takes me a few moments to realize that I feel warmth, an odd yet almost comforting sensation of being held by someone. Then a slow creeping dread sets in. Oh, hi. Ah, you're awake, my Espoir. His arm is looped securely around my waist, holding me on his lap. There's a distinct, spiced scent clinging to him, muddling my senses even further. I can feel the fall and rise of his chest beneath me. His heartbeat's quick but steady. My breath catches, my world tilting as I try to push away. But Riven's grip tightens, pulling me closer into the armchair he's sitting in. He dips his head into the crook of my neck. Sir? Sir, please. I feel like I'm dreaming. His voice is tender, yet trembling with something disquieting. I can feel my heart in my throat, and whether out of fear or embarrassment, I don't know. Panic cuts deeper through the fog in my head. I shove harder against his chest. Let me go! I'm afraid I can't do that. Sure you can, you just move your flippin' arms. I know you, Espoir. You'll run far away from me. A pause, a slow inhale against my skin. But it's better this way, staying here, with me. He mumbles slowly, and of course, his crazed words are out of my realm of understanding. Oh no, for a split second I forgot what game jam this game was a part of. Who the heck are you? And what do you want with me? I don't have anything you want. I'm a nobody. He quietly laughs and slightly tilts his head, almost affectionate. You aren't a nobody. The scum around you just treat you like one. But I won't do that. I'll give you everything you've been denied, starting now. Well, I'm in quite a bit of debt, sir. I don't understand. Oh, by the way. Riven's voice lulls, speaking offhandedly, like he's casually remembering something insignificant. That waitress, the one who spilled wine on you, she died in the shooting earlier. I stiffen with a shock. Shame. I think she would have made a fine addition to the show. He chuckles jarringly, a sound that sends ice spiking through my veins. But don't worry. I managed to catch that annoying fly that's been buzzing around you. To my horror, I hear... Oh, a muffled sound from somewhere behind me. Even how it keeps buzzing. How annoying. There's someone there. Riven tilts his chin, angling my face towards something I don't want to see. Oh. Splayed across a lone poker table, in the dim, hazy light, is a writhing body, bound and gagged. Blood stained the VIP's clothes, his eyes terrified and silently pleading in my direction. Oh, looks like you got yourself in a situation that I'm not going to help you get out of, sir. Riven's whisper is close to my ear, and unnervingly pleased. My gift to you. He's been bothering you for weeks, hasn't he? Lurking after your shifts, putting his hands where they don't belong, acting like you're just another thing he can buy. And then there's his little trafficking side business, running brothels from the back streets of Redfern Alley. And that waiter who disappeared last week? I'm sure you know, on some level, that you were next. Hey, so you've been watching me? Not just today, but... Oh God, how have I never noticed? Because you just said you keep your face focused on the table, you don't notice stuff around you, me. Riven doesn't say anything, just lifts his hand and slowly threads his fingers through my hair. He watches my expressions, the way someone might watch a rerun of a show, waiting for a moment that he knows is coming. Something cold then brushes against my fingers. I flinch, my nerves already frayed. It's a knife. Riven offers it to me, pressing it against my damp palm. He nods towards the body on the table, an unspoken demand. Show that Civello scum what it's like to be on the receiving end, Espoir. Okay, stab. Do it. Threaten. Do it. Where's the stab him button? Where is the stabby? Where is the stab button? Maybe he deserves it, but... Get rid of that butt. Heartbeat ramping up. I stare at the blade and imagine myself sliding it through the VIP's ribs. Maybe he deserves it, but I can't. I don't understand why you're doing this.
And why can't you? You think this is about me? I don't need to kill him, but you do. Because even if you spare his life and pretend like none of this happened, you'll always know, won't you, that you had the chance to stop him, and didn't.
His lips curve into something unsettling.
You'll wonder what he's doing the next time he preys on those defenseless against his status. The next time he thinks he's invincible, because you let him live.
You don't need to convince me, Dante from the Devil May Cry series. I'm gonna stab him. You had me at trafficking. He had what's coming to him when he put his hand inappropriately on my waist.
I know you, Espoir. I know you so well.
This can't be real. This can't be happening. He's uttering nonsense. It's not that much nonsense. It's not that nonsense. And yet, in the next moment, we're standing in front of the poker table. I don't even register how we got here. Just the crushing awareness of the knife in my hand. The scared wretch's eyes are quivering, waiting to see what I'll do. He looks smaller like this, his bravado stripped away, nothing more than a pathetic figure. If his gag were removed, he'd be groveling, bargaining, swearing up and down that he'd never do it again. Lies. The moment he was freed, I'm sure he'd slink back to his business and wipe this night off his conscience like dust on a cuff. I flex my grip out of anger and let it go slack. The situation is so muddling, like we're stringed up puppets in some twisted performance. I try to find the words, but they feel trapped in my throat. Riven's grip is pressing, suffocating, his fingers folding over mine, locking them into place.
It seems you keep clinging to the idea that you're better than this. I don't know how you survived without me here.
I stiffen as he guides my arm forward, the tip of the knife pressing against fabric, then against flesh.
You should know a losing hand when you see one, dealer. When you hold the winning cards.
The blade sinks, then sinks deeper. A wet puncture of steel, a gurgling scream. Something warm spills over my fingers.
Don't be afraid to go all in. See what I did there? That was a card game joke.
I gasp, my breathing shallow and panicked. My vision blurs, and I can't bear to look. He's already dead. I don't know how much time passes, each stab a sickening echo that pulls me further away from reality. But what feels even worse than holding the knife is a small part of me that feels an odd relief, even reluctant relish in the act. I wonder if somehow his delirium has seeped into me. The thick smell of iron fills the air. I feel like throwing up. Riven's low, breathy laughter wraps around me much like the hand that's still wrapped around mine like a vice.
Open your eyes, Espoir. I want you to look only at me, and nothing else.
Look. I don't know why, but I do. Scarlet stains my vision and our joined hands. Riven's eyes glint feverishly, looking like madness itself.
You're so beautiful like this, Espoir. Destroying, claiming. This is what happens to people who lay their hands on you. Only I can bear witness to this.
I've been avoiding putting a name to this feeling. Maybe it's because he's been watching me for so long that I subconsciously feel like his presence threaded itself into my awareness like a sick familiarity. But looking at Riven, his wild-eyed gaze, his praises tinged with insanity and desperation, reminds me of something else. Of rainy nights, of city alleyways, ink that stings, hazy memories that feel like they don't belong to me. It's uncomfortable, and I don't understand it. He slowly relinquishes his grip, and the knife slips out of my slackened hold. It clatters to the ground, and then... He's kissing me. Before I can think, before I can stop myself, my lips part against his. It happens so quickly. I can't tell if it's out of surprise or a lack in judgment. Riven pushes me back against the table, painted with carnage, desperation in his movements. He kisses me like he's trying to pull something from me, swallowing the last ragged breath from my lungs. Hot. His grip is firm, possessive, like he's staking a claim. My fingers twitch uselessly by my sides, as if every nerve in my body is locked down, too confused, too overwhelmed by the hunger in his kiss. And as suddenly as it started, he pulls away. A sharp gasp escapes me, and I'm heaving for air. "You're sick!" I take a wobbly step back as Riven bites into his lip, a dull flush on his face. My legs then give out, and my knees meet the floor. Riven moves to help me up, but I don't budge. I can't. I can feel his sharp eyes drinking in my disheveled state, but I can't bring myself to look at him. Anger, confusion, disbelief, and the fact that now, in addition to wine, I'm gonna have to clean out all this blood. The reality of the situation sinks in with a terrifying coldness. What happens now? You just made me kill someone. Someone with ties, connections, people who won't let this go. To them, I've sided with the enemy. I was already drowning in debt with the Savellos, but now they'll want my head, too. The brittle laugh that escapes me sounds like it belongs to someone else. If you're trying to ruin my life, you're doing a good job. I feel him kneel beside me.
My dove is worrying too much. You think there's nowhere to run to,
His voice is almost soothing, if not for the madness coiling beneath it.
Don't worry about the Savellos. Don't worry about anything anymore. I'll take care of you. We'll be together now. Forever.
You actually think that? You think this means we'll be together? You're out of your mind. He watches me, coolly.
Am I? You still don't get it, do you? We're inevitable. No matter the circumstances, no matter the life we live.
He stands up.
Espoir. When I look at you, I feel so many things that I can barely breathe. These feelings festering in my chest. You'll come to understand them. I'll make sure you do.
I hear his footsteps fade, deliberate and unhurried. Then, the unmistakable sound of a lock sliding into place. Hey! You're not leaving me in here with this, are you? No! Wait! I jolt upright, on unsteady legs, but it's already too late. I pound on the door, fists aching, but nothing. He's gone. Did you seriously leave me in here with the body? The silence presses in, save for the steady dripping of blood against the tile. The crime I didn't want to commit. You didn't want to commit it. Now, my hands are stained too. Gosh darn it. The gasp. To be continued in the full version. Thanks for playing. There's a link in the description if you would like to follow the developers for more development. I don't want to. What if I swallow my pride and endure it? Do we still get interrupted? I decided to just offer him a non-committal response, hoping it's enough to get him to leave as soon as possible. I'll think about it. Disgust pools in my stomach as he grabs my backside firmly. Oh, my delicious booty cheeks! Something slimy brushes the shell of my ear. Ugh.
That's more like it. I'll be waiting upstairs.
Blech. You can't be here, sir. This area is restricted. Even so, this is a restricted area. Strange, guests aren't allowed in here.
Surely that rule can be overlooked if a man's life is at stake.
If your life's at stake, then wouldn't mine be too, being stuck in here with you? Despite my best efforts to glare him into oblivion, Riven remains unfazed. Okay, what if I just try to leave then? You can stay here, I'll go. I'm just going to go. Have fun with whatever you're doing. Riven doesn't budge from the door, much to my annoyance.
I thought you'd prefer to clean up. By all means, carry on with whatever you are doing.
I'm not giving you a strip show. You'll see my goodies.
Of course not. A little whining and dining comes first.
Well, at least he understands that. Ooh, what if I go, I'm not stabbing nobody? I'm not stabbing him. And you are sick for stalking me and holding me here against my will.
Against your will? No, Espoir. This is Destiny's will.
I'll call Destiny and tell her I don't want to be here. His fingers trace the back of my hand, feather light, but there's no mistaking the way he cages me in.
We were always meant to fall together.
I don't care. I'm not sticking a knife through someone just because you tell me to. I was going to do it because I wanted to, but now you tell me to and I don't want to do it. His thumb brushes over my thundering pulse, as if savoring it.
Why are you so scared, my dove? After all, steel is a kinder mistress.
A shudder crawls up my spine from the meaningful way he looks at me while saying it. And we stab him anyway. Fine, but I'm not looking at you. I keep my eyes shut, willing for everything to go away like a bad dream. But no matter how long I refuse to see it, it doesn't erase the reality of what's being done.
It's done. He won't be a problem anymore.
The words hang in the air, and something inside me snaps. The sight of blood floods my senses like a tidal wave. I realize with a sickening jolt that I'm still holding the knife, my fingers numb against the cold steel. I drop it. The sound of it hitting the floor sharpened the silence. My legs then give out, and my knees meet the floor. I'm figuring that this demo only has the one ending, but what if I take the knife and threaten Riven with it? Ha ha! Adrenaline-fueled, I grab the knife and point it at Riven's throat, pinning him against the chair with a hand. Quit playing games and let me out of here, or this is going right through your jugular. Riven doesn't make any move to defend himself, and laughs, eyes dark with amusement.
Finally holding the power in your hands.
He tilts his head back against the chair, exposing his throat further, as if daring me.
You really think I'm the problem here?
You kinda seem like you are. A pause. I don't answer.
Fine. Kill me then.
I hesitate. Dang it, he's calling my bluff. Or, you're willing to die right here? His voice drops lower, almost reverent.
If it's by your hand, I'll make an exception.
My stomach twists. I lower the knife, shoving him away. His smile doesn't fade.
I see. You've made your choice. Either way, Damnation is the only way for people like us.
What do you mean, us? You got a mouse in your pocket? What do you mean, us? His words shouldn't mean anything to me, but they bite into my skin regardless. Well, that was the demo for Ravenous Hand. As I said, it's part of the Yandere Game Jam of 2025, so I think Riven is a little bit obsessed. I just wanted to get my shirt cleaned. But if you would like to follow the developer, there is a link in the description of this video, and do heed any warnings that they have on that game page. Because you don't want to upset yourself or anything. And if you would like to see me play any more amazing visual novels, feel free to peruse my channel. And don't forget to like, subscribe, or interact in any way that's comfortable for you, as we're trying to make it to 100,000 subscribers. But until next time, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Take care of yourself, have a great night, and remember, there is always hope.